Have you ever looked back on your gaming life and played the first game or that favorite game ever you've played when you were a child, but now play it when you're older and see if you still like it, even though you're looking at it through a critical eye? I mean, we all have those games, like Pro Jared has Final Fantasy VI and some call me Johnny has Super Metroid. For me and Ratchet and Clank, one of my all-time favorite games from this franchise, as well as all-time, goes to the third game in the PS2 era. This is Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal. Enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash or Treasure, the series where I take a look at either a very beloved or hated game and give my own opinion on it. This one is going to be different, since the game in question is one that I very much loved, and well, I'm scared about what the outcome will be, but I'm going to try and not get too sentimental in this, so let's just introduce the game in question. Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal is a 3D platformer released in November of 2004 for the PlayStation 2. Now, this is the part where I talk about my personal history with this game, but I'm gonna save it till later in the video, so let's just answer the question. Is Ratchet & Clank 3 any good, and is it one I can recommend to you? Let's find out. While playing chess in their penthouse in the Bogon Galaxy, Ratchet and Clank receive word that Ratchet's home planet Veldin is under attack by an army of Tyrannoids. Posing as an officer in the Galactic Rangers, he leads an assault that drives off the invaders, who appear to use very sophisticated weapons and equipment. At a post-victory briefing, the Galactic President Fironics, informs the duo that a robotic villain known as Dr. Nefarious, voiced by Armin Shimmerman, is believed to be responsible for organizing the attack. As very little is known about Nefarious, the Rangers decide to track down the only man who have ever beaten him, that being Captain Quark. Ratchet discovers a feral Quark living with a tribe of monkeys on the planet Florana and takes him to the starship Phoenix, where our heroes are met with the galactic captain, Sasha Fironics, voiced by Leslie Cara Rudolph.
Will you marry me?
Keep it in your pants, Ratchet, you just met her. Upon regaining his sanity after watching his old adventures reenacted via VidComic, Quark forms the Q-Force, an elite squad that only answers to him, and orders Ratchet, Clank, and Q-Force operative Skid Marks, voiced by Nell Flynn, to infiltrate Nefarious' base on planet Aquatos. Hacking his database, Clank obtains a map of Tyrannosis, the Tyrannoid homeworld. After Ratchet succeeds in killing the Tyrannoid Queen, Quark steals the kill of the Tyrannoid Queen from Ratchet. Dr. Nefarious then sends a transmission to the Phoenix, mocking the Q-Force, but Big Al, voiced by Chris Hadfield, being the technical expert of the team, traces it to a weapons facility on planet Dax. There, Ratchet and Clank learn that Nefarious has constructed a weapon called the Bio-Obliterator, but they are unable to find any information on it. They also find a music video produced by pop star Courtney Gears, a robotic parody of Britney Spears, voiced by Melissa Disney, in which she instructs robots to destroy all organic life forms. Clank sets up a meeting with Gears, which, if she gets a role in one of Clank's holofilms, she'll tell him about Nefarious, but she renders him unconscious after the filming and turns him over to the Good Doctor. Aware of Clank's fame as the star of Secret Agent Clank, Nefarious asks him to serve as the face of his plan to wipe out all organic races, but he refuses. In response, Nefarious creates an evil double named Clunk, who is also voiced by Kane, and has him take Clank's place for a majority of the game. We meet up with Skid again at the Obani Moons, where in Obani Draco, the third moon in the Obani Moon system, Skid is seen captured by Courtney Gears and is turned into a robot. We then take her down and bring Skid to the Phoenix. Sasha manages to locate Nefarious' ship called the Leviathan, located on the Zeldrin starport. Our heroes confront Nefarious, only for the Doctor to self-destruct the entire ship, ending in Quark sacrificing himself, and Ratchet, Clank, and Scrunch the Monkey head back to the Phoenix. Good god, this romance between Sasha and Ratchet is more rushed than Sonic 06 and is more forced into the backtracking in Chapter 7 in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And that is saying a lot. After a brief memorial for Quark on the Phoenix, Ratchet goes to assist Ranger forces battling a Tyrannoid invasion in the city of Metropolis. Unveiling his newly completed Bio-Obliterator, Nefarious uses it to turn both Metropolis' citizens and his Tyrannoid soldiers into robots. Making yet another escape, he orders Clank to kill Ratchet. After being the clone who will certainly not show up in any other games after this, Ratchet and Clank are reunited and vow to stop Nefarious. While searching the remains of the Leviathan, they find evidence that Quark faked his death. A secret message hidden on board on the Phoenix reveals the location of a secret hideout located on the threatened asteroid belt, where Quark, overcome with cowardice, refuses to fight any longer. It's here where we get a distress call from Sasha about the Phoenix suddenly being attacked by Nefarious' lackeys, and after fighting off an attack on the Phoenix, the duo intercept the Bio-Obliterator on planet Koros, and Clank destroys it with an ion cannon. However, Sasha informs them that a second more advanced Bio-Obliterator is being prepped for launch at Nefarious' main command center on planet Mylon. Ratchet and Clank locate Nefarious and defeat him, but he activates the Bio-Obliterator, which transforms into a mecha.
What is this? Gurren Lagann, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Star Driver, Mobile Suit Gundam Code Geass Darling, the Franks Fully Cooley Premier SSSS Gridman?
Before he could crush the two, a reinvigorated Quark flies in to distract him, giving the duo an opening to destroy the Bio-Obliterator, and Nefarious doesn't bother to specify a destination after defeat when he engages his teleporter, stranding him and his butler Lawrence on a distant asteroid, and while the two make a brief appearance at the end of the next game, Ratchet Deadlock, they continue drifting through the cosmos, up until the events of A Crack in Time. With Nefarious defeated, the Q-Force and their allies, along with cameos from other characters like Fizz Widget, Angela, the Rhino Salesman, and the Sock Puppet Dude who built the Hypnotizer, attend a private screening of the latest Secret Agent Clank holofilm. Sasha gives Ratchet a kiss on the cheek, and before Clank can get violated by Scrunch, the credits roll, ending Up Your Arsenal. And that was the plot. Overall, outside of a few issues, I still consider this my personal favorite plot to the franchise. Dr. Nefarious was an amazing villain, and people loved him so much that he would make appearances in future Ratchet & Clank games, either as cameos or in person as the main villain. What's helping is his voice provided by Armin Shimmerman. He just hams up the performance as Nefarious, and he fits it like a glove. I also love his butler Lawrence, voiced by Michael Bell. I love all the subtle roles he gives his boss, all while keeping that calm and sophisticated behavior. Another thing I love about Nefarious is that whenever he gets very pissed, he freezes and plays audio from a fictional in-universe soap opera called Lance and Janice, and the only way to snap him out of it is for Lawrence to smack him in the head or face, and it just cracks me up every time. But now, let's move on to my issues with this plot. Sasha. While her voice actress did a good job, she had as much character as Angela Cross from the last game, which isn't very much at all. They also tried doing a not-so-subtle romance plot with her and Ratchet, and it just feels so damn forced! But yeah, outside of the romance plot with Sasha and Ratchet, the plot in general is great. But now, let's discuss the gameplay. Gameplay of Up Your Arsenal has us in control of Ratchet and Clank, and the name of the game is the same as usual. Let's discuss the Clank segments first this time, since they did get a good overhaul. For one, Clank has his own weapon, the banana-guided autonomous monkey device, or BGAM for short. We also have the gadget bots, and it's the usual Clank gameplay. Outside of the BGAM, it's okay. As for the standard Ratchet gameplay, it's the same as well, though this time we can level up our weapons to level 5, which would become the usual standard for most of the games, and when we do challenge mode, we can level them to 8. The weapons range from as useless as the Hollow Shield Glove to as fucking eye-melting as the Rhino 3, or when you fully upgrade it, the Rhinocerator. And new to this game are the Quark Vid Comets. These are mostly used to progress the story, like jogging Quark's memories, getting the coordinates to Metropolis, and locating Quark's hideout. These take a 2.5D platformer with shooter gameplay akin to Mega Man or Contra, or to make a more modern comparison, Cuphead. There is actually a cheat code you can do to make Quark wear a tutu. By inputting up, up, down, down, left, right, circle, square, square once or twice, it'll work. It's purely a cosmetic thing. Same goes for another unlockable, a laser sword. By pausing the game and inputting circle, square, up, down, left, left, you could get the double laser sword replacement without having to get all the skill points. So here's another cool thing about the gameplay I forgot to talk about in Going Commando. In Going Commando, if you have a Ratchet 1 save file, you can get all the Gadgetron based weapons for free, and when you meet the returning Slim Cognito during the Aquatos mission, if you have a Going Commando save, you can get all the Megacorp weapons for free as well. This is a pretty great reward for people who kept up with the franchise since the beginning. You can also get a discount on all Gadgetron weapons if you reach Calibo 3 and Ratchet 1, since the NPC you talk to said that you have to wait around 2 years for the employee discount to kick in. So either Insomniac planned to up your arsenal that far in advance, or they didn't expect this to happen. Now I know I skimmed over the platinum bolts from Going Commando, but that's mostly because they can only be used for purchasing weapon mods. But here, when you level up your weapons, they automatically get the mods. So what are the new titanium bolts used for? Skins. To be fair, the only one you will most likely purchase would be the Snowman skin, since you get a trophy for that. If you have a Ratchet 1 save, you could get old school Ratchet, aka Ratchet from the first game. Sadly, you don't get a skin based off of his appearance from Going Commando. There is one last collectible you can hunt down for. Trophies, and I'm not talking about PlayStation Network trophies, these trophies. You can find them either out in the levels or by completing certain tasks like doing every single ranger mission or leveling up all your weapons. Once you get them all, you gain access to the Insomniac Museum. But in conclusion about the gameplay, it does have a lot to offer, and I especially love the new Rhino 3. Too bad that becomes not that fun to use once it's fully upgraded. Visually, Up Your Arsenal looks on par with Going Commando. Then again, this game was made in the span of 1 year, much like Final Fantasy VI, so obviously there will be some similarities in the visual department, mainly with the character models. In terms of new characters, the Nefarious still looks great, though after seeing what he looks like in Rift Apart's gameplay showcase, his Rift Apart design might just be my favorite look for him. The Bio-Obliterators, especially the Gundam one, also look imposing to look at. As for the environments, they're just simply amazing to look at, especially Obani Draco. I may not be the biggest fan of purple or hot pink or whatever this color is supposed to be, but goddamn, this looks pretty to look at. I also love the redone Velden, since that Quark poster from the first game is still there in this game. The only thing in the visual department that I don't like is this ugly shade of yellow-orange. Compare it to the blue hue from Going Commando and you'll see what I mean. But as for OST, it's also pretty good. Returning plans such as Iridia, Railguard, Metropolis, and Velden all get remixes from their original themes, whereas for the new plans and the Starship Phoenix, they get completely original tracks. And speaking of the Phoenix, I love this little hub-based place. I don't know, there's just something about it that just feels cozy in a way about this place. Could it be that this place could be a pretty believable home base for a team? Maybe. Would it be cool if Sony did a Ratchet Clank toy line back then where they could sell models of the Phoenix? Hell yes. Am I also sad that they didn't do that? You bet your ass I am sad about that! But in general, the OST is also pretty great. So now let's recap. I think the story is pretty great. Gameplay is a step up in Clank's gameplay, while also making improvements to Ratchet's gameplay. Visually, it's on par with the previous game, and OST is also good to listen to. So here are my closing thoughts. Overall, everyone, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal to me, in terms of the PS2 era of this franchise, is still what I consider my personal favorite in this era of the franchise. While some say the gameplay is a mild downgrade since it went for a more one-path linear approach whereas the previous two had multiple paths, I say I'm fine with linearity. In all honesty, there's a reason why I often consider this game as a contender of one of my favorite games of all time, and that is because of the memories I share with this game. From the first time I picked it up around the age of 7 or 8, 9 at the latest, to now in 2022 at the age of 19. I do get why people say that this one is mildly weaker compared to the previous two, but to me, like I said, when it comes to this era, Up Your Arsenal is still my favorite. So it's with all that in mind, Ratchet & Clank 3 gets my score of a solid 10 out of 10! But now, I want to know from you all, did you play Up Your Arsenal? What did you think of it? And is it something you would recommend to a friend? Leave your answers and more down in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're here, consider subscribing and turn on the bell to be notified whenever I make a new video. As always, my social media links are down below. I've been HorrorKid, and join me next time when I take a look at the fourth and final PS2 Ratchet Clank game, that being Ratchet Deadlocked. I'm probably gonna need a break after doing this, so please be patient whenever I do get around to doing Deadlock. Till then, you all take care.